Hello. I have recently been diagnosed with Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome. I've smoked weed for about 11 years. Since I started smoking weed, I was 15 years old, and I primarily started because of depression and things like that. I'll get into the details of that in another video, but for the most part, that was the main reason for starting. I kind of felt lost. And it definitely helped with that. I had lost my father to suicide, and things were very difficult, and that helped. So I'm not really sure where I wanna start this. There's so much to talk about. Basically, I guess I'll just start with what I've been dealing with, like you would be a doctor or something. So all of my major issues started about 6 years ago. I've had GERD for the past 11 years. 16 years. I was 11 years old when I was first diagnosed with GERD and had acid reflux coming up into my stomach. That was very difficult. It was incredibly painful, and I would sometimes black out from how bad the pain was. I had surgery for it when I was 14, so they went in and laparoscopically adjusted my stomach and wrapped it around the top of my esophagus. I'll probably have a video talking about that in detail as well. So basically, after the first surgery, my heartburn was pretty much taken care of for about 2 years. 2 to 3 years, and it started coming back. After the Nissen wrap, which is what the surgery was called, failed, I struggled a lot trying to figure out what to do, because they told me that having another surgery wouldn't be a very good idea, that it could cause complications and risk with the scar tissue that was already in there. But the surgeon that I talked to, with how bad it was and how it was coming back, I basically I couldn't drink water anymore. Water just it turns into basically stomach acid in my stomach and just gives so much more to go up. And I had lesions like bleeding down my esophagus after the first surgery, so they were very, very worried. And like I said, I'll go into detail about the surgeries and what the extent of that was, because it was pretty serious. So after the first surgery, I was sent from my surgeon, who took over after my first surgeon left, and she sent me to another surgeon in Portland, Dr. Hunter, who apparently did a lot of the work revamping the Nissen wrap and making it a lot stronger. So in 2010, I had that surgery done by him, and I don't really get much heartburn anymore, but that's when some serious nausea started. I'm not really sure what happened or what caused it. Probably something with the surgery, but I haven't seen any doctors or any gastroenterologists to talk to them about that, because marijuana for the longest time completely dealt with all of the nausea issues that I was dealing with. I legitimately smoked weed every single day as much as I could for 11 years, and I enjoyed it. I love smoking weed, and I wouldn't stop if this wasn't affecting me. So about 4 years ago, I got married, and I'm now divorced, and I'll go into probably a whole video about that, because that was the whole thing. But basically, my health declined as I was with her, and I continued smoking weed and whatnot, but my nausea definitely got worse. I started experiencing like motion sickness and things like that. Is the only thing I could attribute it to. Was it just felt like I was kind of dizzy, or like a vertigo feeling. It was all like connected to my ears, and I spent years going to doctors trying to figure out what was going on. I even was taking a motion sickness medication over the counter for the longest time, and it just basically stopped working. And so I saw a neurologist and all this stuff, and after the major stress of my divorce ended this past couple months, things basically started shutting down. My motion sickness started turning into like legit pounding headaches with just tons of pressure in my upper head and whatnot, and that was very, very difficult to deal with. I haven't worked since I started with all this nausea and whatnot, because most places I was working at as a dishwasher at a restaurant, because I couldn't handle the extreme temperatures of the kitchen or anything like that, so I just stayed in the dish position. But my feet started getting really bad neurologically, and I'll have stories for all of this stuff. But basically, I would throw up a lot and dry heave, and they didn't like that. Being in a kitchen, you got the customers could see me, right through the door, and so like sometimes I would dry heave, and that wasn't good. And so I voluntarily left that job. I don't think they would have fired me because they really enjoyed the work that I did, but I needed to leave for my health. And the last week that I was there, I had like bronchitis and was like coughing up blood, and it was like the week of my honeymoon. I like went on my honeymoon with like coughing up blood and just like sick as all hell, ended up throwing up like 4 or 5 times while I was there. It was really bad. Anyways, so after these past couple months, I've been trying to figure out what's been going on, and the major issue was these headaches that I've been getting. They're very disorienting, and they trigger my nausea, which is one of the major issues that I have. So I decided to go to a neurologist, Dr. Michael Bell at Ben Neurological Associates. He's very, very good, and I respect him a lot for being able to talk with me about all of this and tell me something that I didn't want to hear. Basically, he checked me out completely, said that I didn't have any neurological reasons for having these headaches and whatnot. He even checked my brain years ago, back when I was having issues with my feet, to see if there was any neurological indication of why I was having these nerve issues. And the nerve issues are, I had decompression or compression in my hands, like carpal tunnel, and the ulnar nerve. I had surgery here. Scar's pretty invisible, but I did have surgery there. And my feet, I have neuropathy, I think, in the tips of my toes. They kind of tingle and feel like needles are pricking them if I stand for too long. And he wasn't sure what was causing that, but he assured me that the nausea center of my brain was totally taken care of, that it was completely fine, and there was no major issue there. So that was about 3 years ago, and then I went back to him recently to see why these headaches are there, and I wasn't very happy with what he decided to tell me. At first he said that there wasn't any neurological reason why I'm getting these headaches, and that was very not cool to hear, because I was pretty damn sure that I was getting migraines. I was taking Excedrin migraine, and they were making everything better, and he said that Excedrin migraine is terrible and that he wants it taken off of the market because caffeine expands the vessels in your head, and then eventually you're taking it to the point where you're just trying to get back to that normal blood vessel size, and you just always have a migraine. So I haven't had caffeine in years, but I basically just decided that because Excedrin had caffeine, that was probably a bad idea. So he prescribed me a Cephally device, which is a TENS machine. You basically clamp it to your head here with a sticky pad, and it magnetically adheres and kind of shocks your head and whatnot. I used that for about a week, and I didn't feel any significant improvement with my migraines. And my headache was so bad a couple days ago, I picked up some Tylenol, and the Tylenol works incredibly well. I take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night. That's my max dose essentially, and my headaches are pretty much taken care of throughout the day. And so that's really good. That's super important for me to have that and be able to start this whole process over again. While I was in the doctor, he decided to tell me that most of my issues that he believed I had were because of me smoking weed. So, of course, I was advert to this, and I didn't like him telling me that, and I argued again because Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, which is what he diagnosed me with. I don't necessarily fit the symptoms from what I've seen. From what people say, they get abdominal pain and things like that. They get marijuana makes their nausea really bad, which it doesn't do for me. Yeah, so there was a few things that didn't necessarily make sense, but after I started using the Cephaly device, I started noticing that the marijuana was starting to give me pretty bad headaches, and I didn't really understand what was going on there, because all the research that I'd done had said that it causes like stomach pains and things like that, not necessarily headaches. So I didn't necessarily agree with him for a while until it started affecting me. And once that started happening, things started changing. So I had to go to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for a little while, and they gave me fluids. But I was still getting migraines every day, and it never worked as well as the Cephaly never worked as well as the Tylenol does. So I don't think that I have migraines or anything like that. But now that I've kind of been weaning myself off of marijuana, I've been getting really bad headaches whenever I actually start to smoke. So today is the first day that I'm abstaining completely from marijuana, and in the hopes that in a couple months, maybe, from what they say, that my headaches will eventually go away. The interesting thing is, for the longest time, like I said, I haven't been able to drink water. I've drank lemonade. I used to make my own kombucha, mix it with ginger ale and things like that, but I basically needed something with like some sort of sugar content or something like that to kind of actually be able to drink anything. And now that I've stopped smoking, I can drink water again. I was really, really nauseous for about 2 days while I was weaning off, and I just decided, maybe I should just do a reset, like just stop smoking weed, start drinking water, and just do a complete reset of my body and try to figure out like what every sensation means now that I'm not under the effects of this drug. So my nausea has been a lot better. Like this morning, it's about 9:45, and I haven't taken an anti-nausea pill. I have a bottle of water over there. I've drinking about half of it, which is more water than I've drinking in a long, long time. I drank a whole bottle of water last night, and that right there is a huge accomplishment for me. I feel like, like my pee was clear and whatnot, and it hasn't been for years. And, so I'm going to keep trying to do these vlogs and whatnot and keep everyone up to date on, what I'm going through, and, try to tell some more stories about my life and, how things have been going for me and the different challenges that I faced, and, maybe give some people some hope, that, weed isn't the only answer. If you're using it and it starts attacking you and affecting you, and it's not worth it. I love smoking weed, don't get me wrong. I love fucking smoking weed, but it's not worth it anymore. Like, I need to get my life back. I need to get my life on track, and I feel like I'm finally taking the steps to do that in a healthy way, and a way that my doctors approve of, and a way that's good for me. So I think I'll leave it there, but I'm going to be doing some more videos and whatnot like this, and I'm not sure where I'll film them, if I'll do it right here or if I'll do it out in my studio. But yeah, I'll just kind of give you guys an idea of like what I've been going through, what my life is like, and why I really haven't been around all that much. I thank you guys for watching. If you are watching, talk to you guys later.